Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about a supplement called Berberine, and it is something that we have gotten from traditional Chinese medicine, but you might be interested in it if you have problems with insulin resistance or you have a cholesterol profile that you're looking to improve. So welcome everyone, Two Fit Docs, Dr. Becky, Dr. Keith, and we're going to swing it right into Keith, and you can talk about your rat studies. Because that seems to be what you're...
Well, I am the lab rat, so I guess I get stuck with these. Yeah, so we've got a number of them. There's actually a lot of research.
There was, quite a bit,
I mean, we had to read through a lot of stuff. But this one I thought was interesting. The title is Berberine Inhibits Adipogenesis in High-Fat Diet-Induced Obesity Mice. So what they do is they have mice that they have genetically altered to get obese. Right. When they're fed fat, they get obese. So they gave berberine to these little guys, and it actually reduced their weight gain and their food intake. So they had less of an appetite, even though they're genetically programmed, to gain weight and to have a big appetite. So that was pretty interesting. The second one is that the berberine, it was another rat study, of course. Berberine moderates glucose and lipid metabolism through multipathway mechanisms. So it's not just glucose, it's not just lipid, it's both.
Right. So there's different things going on in there. Right. Their liver is not producing as much glucose, for instance, or it is lowering blood sugar. So there's a lot of different mechanisms that berberine seems to be working to get these responses. And I would say that from our research, most of the things that we found were focused on how berberine has a positive effect on lowering blood glucose and improving your lipid profile, so cholesterol and things like that. And across the board, at least what I've found, is that it was very favorable in all of those aspects. So for instance, with your cholesterol profile, berberine in study after study showed that it lowered your total cholesterol, lowered your LDL cholesterol, lowered your triglycerides, raised your HDL, and those are
all the things you want.
The desirable things.
Yeah.
Right. And to a point where I would often come across studies for human studies. So I get the human studies, you get the rat studies. That showed that berberine was comparable for blood sugar changes to metformin. And metformin is one of the more common diabetic prescription medications. So here we have a natural supplement that you can buy off Amazon, and it's working as well as metformin. And this study, with the treatment of type 2 diabetes and dyslipidemia with the natural plant alkaloid berberine. So what this study took a look at was it took 116 patients who had type 2 diabetes and gave one group berberine and for 3 months, and the other was the control. And what they found was that the group that was given the berberine, they had fasting blood sugar readings at the beginning of 7 millimole per liter, which is in American terms, it's 126 milligrams per deciliter. That is considered a high or a diabetic fasting blood sugar. At the end of the 3 months, their blood sugars dropped down to a normal range. So they ended up with 5.6 millimole per liter, or as we would say, 100 milligrams per deciliter here in the United States. So it basically, 3 months of berberine
took them from being diabetic to being non-diabetic.
Yeah. So
based on their blood glucose.
Yeah. Interesting. Enough to certainly, in my opinion, if you are facing these issues, if you have insulin resistance, chronically high glucose in the morning, you want to improve your cholesterol profile, I think berberine is worth giving a look at.
Absolutely.
Grab the one that we've used. And a nice thing is that you can get these off Amazon. This is the one that we have in our house, Amazing Formulas Berberine. We'll point to that on our Amazon affiliate.
And I did try this for no other reason than just to see if I could feel any effect. It didn't bother my stomach, didn't give me any undue effects. if I had an issue, if I was worried about my morning glucose being higher than it normally is, I would probably take it for a while.
Yeah.
So.
And how much?
You know, most of the things that I have seen, say 1,500 milligrams a day, which is 3 capsules, 500 milligrams 3 times a day. And some of the studies have used a little bit less, like 1 gram, which would be two of these capsules.
Right.
But I think three is good for most people.
Right, and I have seen that you do want to spread that out, so you don't want to take 3 capsules
all at once.
Right. You want to take them throughout the day because to get the sustained effect.
You know, an interesting thing about this, though, this berberine, is that these studies kind of mimic the apple cider vinegar studies that we did in the video that we did on that. It has both an effect on blood glucose and on lipids. I think that's really interesting. And another thing that's that one of the reasons that we found this was when we researched into adiponectin, and we recently did a video on that. Berberine was one of the compounds that is said to help increase your levels of adiponectin, which increases fat oxidation and glucose things.
Right.
So I think it's a really interesting supplement. I don't know if you need it every day, but like you said, if you're somebody who's got higher blood glucose level, especially in the morning, kind of that fasting glucose level, it's a simple enough thing to do. And I don't think they were very expensive, and
Yeah, so we're kind of finding that, you know, there are ways, you know, once you get your diet under control, once you're low carb or keto, you're not feeding your body all those sugars. Now you can start to fine tune with some of these supplements and really get a tremendous benefit.
Yeah.
But you have to have the diet in place first.
Absolutely, that's first. That's key. That's number 1, 2, 3, and 4 probably. Everything else is 5 beyond. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. But so hey, we hope this is helpful to you. If you are someone who struggles with your cholesterol profile or insulin resistance, your blood sugar is not where you want it to be. Might be something you want to look into. Berberine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Nope. I think that's it till next time.
All right. Hey,
All right.
thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, and we will be back real soon with another video. Thanks.
We'll see you.